Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to round 6 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series. Glad to have you guys here and welcome to the beautiful track of Watkins Glen, where we're going to see people go bowling heading into turn 1. Who's going to be able to challenge for the victory? And considering we're round 6 and the championship is still up in the air, who's going to be able to take the win here tonight to score big in the championship points and to go for their share of 10,000 Rand cash? You heard me right. 10,000 Rand will be up for grabs for our drivers that finish out this championship, that score the most points, and it's going to be exciting. I can tell you there has been lots and lots of chatter down in the grid as we head down to our qualifying and take a look at where all the drivers are starting to lead out. I know that we have been having a little bit of a discussion amongst the pits of what is the general feel of here at Watkins Glen. A lot of excitement, a lot of worry as well of where things are going to end out. But then we also had a chat to Extreme Service Center, going and getting a bit of an idea of what their thoughts are on the track as well and where it's all going to turn out. So a lot of excitement came in, a lot of perseverance, a lot of, okay, well, we've got to make sure these cars make their way to the end, and a lot of them getting actually service there. Red Star Raceway being involved, and also Scallywags. But most importantly, PokerBet setting out all the grandstands and getting everyone ready. I do see that there is Tariq Adam leading out the charge with Luke Addison currently in second place, Henry Mayer running in third, Giovanni Porzio going and making up some time. Person that is sitting in the grandstands though is not out on track, and that is Vietia Buerta, also the teammate to many of the Martin Racing drivers. So Vietia Buerta going and getting called over by the missus, told, listen, you got to spend a bit of time with us. You've been a lot behind the rig, and now he is supporting out the drivers and on the way through. Daniel De Villiers out there in the Nissan GTR, and he's looking to really push the levels up now and really step it up as they go through. Werner Skuman lying in 9th place, the captain of the Pandacity Esports, really trying to step up the game here. Bagor Krobler enjoying his final full time in ACC for this season, and will be moving on to different pastures, but also going and just keeping a toe dipped in the water for ACC, but moving over to iRacing next year. Going to be a bit of fun there and trying out a different bit of skills. Fleming Bauer out in 11th, Gideon Rayner in 12th. Omnis Gaming gonna revitalize themselves and really putting on the charge, looking to step it up in the sim racing division. Daniel Rowe running in 14th position, and on the climb, Jared Bucas all the way out for the Stinger Racing. We've got Chris Collison, his teammate, chasing him through. Vessel Wooder, Mordrake Larson's back out on track. Jean Fafers, along with Ron van der Walt, BG Smith on Australia. Ryan Barrington Smith going and taking some time off the rallying to get back behind the wheel of the GT3s. Henk Peterson, Michael Schultz back out on track, along with Henry Platt and Tianas Buerta still putting on the charge. Ryan Faree, Chris Biermester back on the charge, having a good time out there, and he is ahead of Elwin Prem of the team Try Hard. Tristan Herbst waiting in the pits. Jean Mossart out on the circuit, and Hansi Myberg, who was umming and ahhing whether to drive or not, folks. He was sitting there going, do I really? Can I really? And yes, we got him in the car. Kieran Patterson, though, is going to be setting the charge at the moment, 0.5 faster than the rest of the field as he makes his way through. And I think that's going to be much to the excitement of Thriller Miller himself, who's not in the car and racing this evening, but is in the pits, going and radioing to all his PWSR teammates that are out there on the track. Good to see that we're going to have a bit of fun here, ladies and gentlemen. But Kieran Patterson hoping that he can get a little bit more drive out of the final corner. Is it going to be enough to move him up into first place? It's got to be Tariq Adam and Giovanni as he comes across the line, puts himself into second. Giovanni down into third place. Tariq Adams still holding the charge with that 142.3, but Luke Addison coming back fighting, 0.3 faster. Can he carry the momentum through? He's utilizing the aero coming off the back of De Villiers' Nissan GTR to help pull him along. Will Luke Addison carry enough to put himself into first place? He is fighting for the championship with Tariq Adam, and he comes across the line, taking that first place. and moves up. Tariq Adam puts himself in second. Kieran Patterson, Giovanni, Henry Mayer trying to throw a spanner in the works there. Daniel Rowe currently 0.1 up on his last lap time. Wasn't able to improve. Gideon Reyna, unfortunately, losing out a bit of time. Mordred Claessen's 0.3 up on his run through the order. And let's see if it's going to work out for him as he tries to get a little bit more of a drive and see where they go through on this one. Mordred hoping that he has enough in the tank of that Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo to go and put himself to the top. And it does move himself up into 14th position. So great run there for our drivers looking to really step it up here tonight for round 6 of our sprint series. And it is going to be a wild one. I know PokerBet's super excited about this one, and also with prize pool on the line. Other than the prize pool being the final championship of the season of the year for Assetto Corsa Competizione. No, this is the second last championship of the year. The last one is going to be the 24-hour Spa coming up on the 7th. That will be the final official championship race of RaceFace.Pro for this year. So everyone for the sprint series is going to give it everything they can to see what's going to work out and see where they can get the push. Tariq Adam trying to get the climb onto Luke Addison. Kieran Patterson trying to set those times in. Final 4 minutes to go though, and Kieran Patterson in the Mustang going to utilize all the power that he can. Now that brutal V8, unfortunately, not going to move him up in third place now. Little clip on the wall as he comes across the line. Just can't get that little third place. He's going to have to wait just a fraction longer. Laps that are currently up is also Bernard Barkhuizen, currently up 0.1 on his lap time. Mordred Claessen's, Gideon Reyna, along with Jean Verveers, Michael Schultz, and BG Smith. Still going and pushing as hard as they can. BG is actually making good time. 0.5 up on his personal best. So he is really trying to dial the car in a little bit more. Mordred Claessen's going to come across the line. Hugh Fanzel moves up the order. And Gideon Reyna couldn't quite get Mordred Claessen's into that 8th position. Going to be smiling on that one. And now he's got to wait out to see what happens. Chris Coulson moving 0.1 faster than his personal best. So is Werner Skuman, who's lying in 6th. BG Smith going to come across the line. He's in 24th, 0.5 up on his personal best. Moves him into the top 20. That is going to be a super effort for the Apex Titans Racing. And also going and having a huge bit of fun there. Good to see there's actually a bit of drift on the side. And a bit of support towards the drifting. In terms of sim racing, there actually is a drifting community that isn't really looked at. It's not very shouted about, and that's something we do really need to bring a bit more to the light. And BG Smith going and bringing a bit there. Werner Skuman, 0.2 up on his last lap time. Henry Mayer, 0.1. Bernard Barkhuizen is 0.1, but just at the moment. Is he going to be able to carry the moment through? Is he going to carry that pace through? Nope, unfortunately not. But Werner Skuman is going to carry the momentum on the way through. Chris tried moving a little bit further up. Wasn't able to do it. Bego Krobler, currently 0.1 faster on his personal best. Werner Skuman and Henry Mayer still giving it horns. But at the moment, Luke Addison still holds the fast lap time with a 142.2. But once again, folks, take a look at how close the top is. 0.060 from Tariq Adam to Luke Addison. That is 60 milliseconds to try and get it going. Kieran Patterson, 0.1 of a second behind him. Giovanni, 0.2 of a second. All sitting in 142. From first to 9th, it is all 1 minute 42 around Watkins Glen on a very cold track, 19 degrees, as we see De Villiers absolutely send it, and Godzilla went and lost it badly, worse than he fought the likes of King Kong in that little run. Werner Skuman now currently 0.1 fastest through the last sector, loses it out. He's on his personal best though. Can he carry the momentum through? Chris Coulson 0.3 up as well. Tariq Adam not able to get his way through, but Luke Addison's going to give it one more hurl around in the Ferrari 296 to see if he can better that 142.2 to prove a point in the ITB Esports Ferrari. Absolutely sending it off note. to try and make up that little bit of time. Chris Coulson comes across the line and not able to improve, still sits in 18th place. Gave it everything he got, but still has some time to put out on the track. Christoph Peterson, who this season has been the most unluckiest driver all the way through, and is going to try and make his way through 0.1 of a second as our drivers make their way around the circuit. Now, I know there is massive fan base, lots of enjoyment, but I am going to go and ask, as we get closer to the end of these championships, we always find that there is so many drivers, and we've got our pro and our pro-am and our ams all giving it absolutely everything they got. And I think what we can all agree on is we can respect it. Doesn't matter if you're the slowest guy or you're the fastest guy. They're having more fun than everyone else sitting on the grandstands. And we have a lot of fun supporting all our drivers, no matter the pace. Because, in all eyes, really good to be fighting out in these amazing lap times, I've got to say. So great times out here. Luke Addison, Tariq Adams, along with Kieran Patterson up into third place. Giovanni Porzero, Henry Mayer, Werner Skuman, Bernard Barkhuizen still up on his lap. Bernard can actually move himself into the top 5. Remember, this is a 45-minute sprint race. That is going to change the game a little bit. It's going to move people up and also going to see how it goes. So the championship is on the line, and that's where we can start to see little fractures start to form in the race. So you got to be very cautious of how you're approaching things. What's your head going to be like? And if you've got teammates out there, they need to keep you in check. The last thing you want to do is get too big-headed and think that you've got it all in the bag. Unfortunately, racing's a cruel mistress. It'll slap you down faster than you can think you're at the top of the hill. You gotta always maintain that cool head right the way through. Bernard Barkhuizen comes across the line, unable to really swing himself out of that 6th place. So, as we move over to our next little bit, we're going to be heading over to our race, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a wild one. Taking a look over to our grandstands. Viator Boert is out there. Old Thriller Miller, Darren Miller, going and shouting from PWSI. He's out there in the pit box. Glad to see you. Anushka Burta, actually, for the first time this season, is going and spending some time with her hubby, which is always glad to see. Family going and all tuning in to be a part of the action. Always love it, really do. We've also got Mr. Porsche GT out there, a super fan for Jordan. Good to see you out there having a bit of fun, and a lot of support going towards Jordan. Great to see, but wouldn't count out the other drivers. All it takes is one little mistake, and we've seen that in the season where drivers have had it all in the bag. They could travel that pace, and unfortunately, it takes that one moment, that split second, to change it all. And here at Watkins Glen on a cold 18-degree circuit, 14 degrees Celsius air temperature. That is why we got a little bit of a jacket on, just to keep everything nice and warm. South Africans aren't a big fan of the colder weather out there. So, as we get ready to move over to our grid racing and looking forward to having some great times out there on the track, we could see the GT3s lining up, ready to go. 35 GT3s are set to take the stage here tonight. Really looking to push their way forward. Going through the standings, though, Luke Addison currently leading out the charts on 219 points. Tariq Adam on 214. Henry Mayer on 166. And one thing we do want to say here at RaceFace and also PokerBet is a special congratulations to Henry, because he has become the first ACC MSA LNR Cup champion. So Henry Mayer is officially a MSA Cup champion from LNR. So congratulations, Henry Mayer, from RaceFace. We salute you on that one. Bernard Barkhuizen lying in 4th. Giovanni Porzio in 5th. Daniel Rowe in 6th. Bego Hrobler in 7th in the championship. Christoph Peterson currently in 8th. 9th is Kieran Patterson, but he has a chance to really stack up the points. 10th is Ryan Barrington Smith. Gideon Rayner in 11th. And Dean Orkier in 12th. Werner Skuman 13th. Mac van der Merwe in 14th. Fleming Bauer in 15th. 16th, Kerry van Zyl. Henko van der Berg. Quinn Duplessis. Daniel de Villiers. Philip Minnar rounding out the pack. So that is our run through it all. And it's great to see drivers getting themselves ready. And yeah, congrats. Congrats to Henry Mayer on that. he holds the crown for 2024. Let's see what he can do. Same as the likes of Jordan Sherritt has got the crown as well for the FI Africa Esports, the Africa Cup Esports that happened in the beginning of the year. Jordan Sherritt holds it for 2024. Next year, maybe a different story. Well, we're only going to find out. What we're going to talk about right now is who's going to become the champion and the final champion for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series. This is round 6, and our drivers start to make their way off the line, and we're going to go through the grid one by one and give them their time to shine, because man, oh man, we've got an absolute packed field of pros. Luke Addison out in first place, Tariq Adam, Kieran Patterson in third. Fourth place, Giovanni Porzio, Henry Mayer, Bernard Barkhuizen, Werner Skuman, Mordred Claessens, Bago Krobler, Christoph Peterson in 10th, Daniel de Villiers in 11th, Gideon Reyna, followed by Kerry van Sale, Jean Verveers, Daniel Rowe, Fleming Bauer, Ruben van der Vault, Chris Collison, all the way out from the UK. BG Smith in 19th. Jared Bucas going to be chasing him down. Vessel Wooder in 21st, followed by Jean Verveers, Paul Fenter, who is, I do want to say, congratulations to Paul Fenter. He's actually bought himself a direct drive. He's paid 50% of it so far, and the comedic timing on his child is absolutely perfect, because when he pulled out his credit card, his kitty went and said, "Klar," and that was pretty much what sums it up for getting a DD. 24th, Ryan Barrington Smith, followed by Michael Schultz. Now, keep an eye on Michael Schultz. He's looking to get a really good drive this season. A lot of motivation behind him. Honor Stradler as well. Ryan Faree has been consistently getting faster and faster, getting a bit more comfortable in the car and becoming a little bit more of a threat towards the mid-grid. Henk Pedersen running in 28th, Tiernas Puerta in 9th, and Henry Platt sitting in 30th. Jean Mossart in 31st, Chris Biermesser in 32nd, Alwyn Prim, followed by Hansi Myberg, the man, the myth, the legend, the man that makes all these servers come to life and puts in hours and hours of work, and that is Hansi Myberg. Good to see out on track. And Tristan Herbst starting from the pits. So our commentator deciding that he's not going to quite dive it in to turn 1 here at Watkins Glen. He's going to just wait it out. But as the cars trundle their way through, everyone getting set up, ready to go. Luke Addison, Tariq Adam fighting for the championship at the top of the pack, will be going door to door with one another. Kieran Patterson, don't count him out of the mix here. Former champion himself, really looks to try and take the fight to the sharp end of the field, and hoping they can really put in the impact. Henry Mayer, Giovanni Porzio, all really gonna be putting the fight in. Henry Mayer lying in third in the championship has an opportunity here to really get the climb. Daniel de Villiers, can't take away, a lot of drivers talking about how potent that Nissan GTR is in a straight line, and looking to really get the power down early on as possible to carry as much momentum through to the rest of the field. Bernard Barkhuizen is very, very hungry at the moment to improve, to get faster, to really lay into the drivers, but he's got a very hungry Werner Skuman right behind him, who's gone so close, but yet so far. Every time that podium has just been elusive, but when he's got there, that taste of the cherry is oh so sweet. Like a fine wine of red wine, he's going to be going for it as everyone lines up. Tariq Adam slamming on the anchors, trying to build up as much heat as he can into those brakes and bleed it into the tires, brings the pace down, and now it's going to all slow up. 70 kilometers an hour. Luke Addison, Tariq Adam going to line up side by side. The entire field will go double file as they make their way through the final corner. 45 minutes of racing, no pit stops, means any drive through or any pit stop now is detrimental to your race as they get ready to go, ready to launch. This is going to be wild. Chris Colson actually in the pits, so he came to a stop and missed out the start. So Luke Addison, Tariq Adam, first, second, let's go as they make their way through round 6. Now starting at the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3, and Luke Addison defensive middle of the circuit, forcing Tariq Adams wide. Kieran Patterson fighting with Giovanni onto the back of him, runs out a little bit wide. Giovanni tries to look for the inside. And take a look at Werner Skuman. Dives up on the inside, fighting Bernard Barkhuizen out. And now has got Henry Mayer in front of him. But Bernard's not done yet. Slips into the slipstream, pulls himself along, gets ready for the fight as they charge their way through. Tariq Adam looking to go by Kieran Patterson. Going to make it 3 wide. Side by side they go. And a quick switch around from them. And Luke Harrison managing to save another day there. But now it is Kieran onto the back of Tariq as they fight their way through. Giovanni is going to be lipping this up hugely to get onto the back of them and get into that toe as fast as possible. And you can see Henry Mayer diving for the inside, absolutely wanting that apex to try and force Giovanni out wide and get that pass down. Werner Skuman hunting him down. Bernard Barkhuizen, a little touch on the dirt. Mordred Claessen's going and biting a lot more of that as he's trying to catch up to his teammates as he sees Henry Mayer loses out the drive. Werner Skuman bottles up his drive, and now Bernard Barkhuizen going to go side by side as they charge their way through. Bernard going to try go late on the brakes. Can the McLaren do it under the Mustang? Oh, not quite so much. Mordred Claessen, so fighting off a little Honda NSX. As we do see Christoph Peterson putting on the chase. Daniel de Villiers staying in for the fight. It's got Bego Krobler and Gideon Reyna all over the back of him. A very, very clean start, might I add. Only one contact of our drivers on that start, and that was just a little scuffle between drivers, not even anything that would have put anyone to a wall. Absolutely fantastic. So a lot of the worries and thoughts that drivers had have completely dissipated at this point, and now starting to look forward of what they need to do, as we do see Bernard Barkhuizen onto the back of Werner Skuman trying to put the pressure on, and Werner losing out that little bit of momentum. He's got to refocus and try and get himself back into the running to close up to Henry Mayer just ahead of him. So he needs to switch his focus here, but has to be a little bit more defensive on his lines. Otherwise, Bernard Barkhuizen's going to have a good go at him and try maybe for the bus stop. Going to be late on the anchors, try and get it through. Not quite, but we do see Christoph Peterson try for a pass. Couldn't get past the likes of de Villiers. De Villiers now onto the back of Mordred Claessen. So de Villiers with that straight line speed, starting to pull himself along, but is going to start to face heavy tire degradation. But unfortunately, one car off into the distance, and that is Gerrit Bucas, who lands off and comes rejoining. So he just got caught up in unfortunate tighten up through the bus stop, had the car bounce, and that was pretty much that. As we see Tennis Buerta trying to get on the inside of Jean Mazot, now switching to the outside, and Paul Fenter, very hungry for that position, is going to have a good go at him. Paul Fenter going to go around the outside of Tennis Buerta. Tennis runs him out a bit wide, carries a lot of the drive, but we do see Jean Mazot losing out a little bit of drive as he gets early onto the power, and has that rear stepping out on the Porsche, but it is going to help him out to break away from Tennis Buerta, as Paul Fenter constantly hunting him down at the moment, as drivers each trying to figure out what is going to be the ultimate goal here. What do they need to do to close up towards the front? Let's go back to the shop in the field though. Luke Addison still laying out the charge, 0.7 of a second faster than Tariq Adam, and Kieran Patterson now closing up that gap, and Kieran makes it up through a lot of the tighter corners, but just can't carry the momentum through. Werner Skuman trying to have a go. Bernard Barkhuizen, Mordred Claessen's, Daniel de Villiers, Christoph Peterson contact with Bego Krobler, and it is ricochet across, and it looks like that might have been Jean, that is Verveers that got caught up in it. Unfortunately, Verveers landed up as a casualty of that fight, and that did not end up the way they wanted. Let's go to Tim in the heli and give us a bit of an insight here of what happened. This is Christoph Peterson trying to go around the outside, backs out of it, really gets bottled up, and take a look. Bego Krobler capitalizing, tries to go on the inside, loses a bit of momentum, and Verveers biting that wall, unfortunately taking a severe amount of damage. I think out of all the cars that took the damage to it, Verveers took the most by just being a person arriving on the scene of the fight, and unfortunately getting caught out. Gideon Reyna trying to catch up to Daniel Rowe, who's just going to get word that his two teammates have taken a hell of a knock, and now has got Fleming Bauer chasing him down on the way through. Werner Skuman keeping the pressure on Henry Mayer, who's starting to make critical errors in his driving, losing out that little bit of momentum, can't really get the pace underneath him. Henk Petersen going and losing out to Ryan Barrington-Smith, and Henry Plott getting a little bit of the drive as well. So there's small fights, the small little breakout fights around the circuit that's starting to become more and more effective, and drivers are starting to feel that run on the way through. Remember, the prize pool that PokerBet has put, that little carrot that hangs in front of the drivers, their share of 10,000 Rand cash is on the line, and Tariq Adam knows it as he fights out his former teammate Luke Addison, both friends, but when it comes down to putting the visor down and you get onto the racetrack, there is no friendship. There is only a fight with your rivals. Henry Mayer battling against Werner Skuman, and Werner knows Henry Mayer up to his tricks here, goes towards the inside, now trying to put Henry Mayer onto the marbles, powering their way through, very, very close, out of the bus stop. Beautifully done on both drivers' parts. It's so easy to lose out a fraction of a time and create a bit of a problem between the two drivers, but both not losing too much drive there, able to carry a lot of momentum through. Another little fight going on. Michael Schultz runs out wide. Ono Stradler up on the inside. Ono getting that drive that he needs. Michael Schultz is going to go side by side into the left-hander, and Michael's going to have the advantage here. Ono forced to the outside. Ryan Barrington-Smith still hanging in for a fight, and he has got Henk Petersen and Henry Plutt closing up, and Ryan, unfortunately, getting caught up in a bit of a loss, as we do see Henk Petersen really having to slam the anchors as he got caught up on a rushing battle, and Henry Plutt has now got into the fight. So this little train between Ono Stradler right down to Paul Fenter is getting a bit wild, and it's going to be a bit of a question as Henry Plutt now around the outside of Henk Petersen gets the momentum. And now Petersen is going to have to really get late on the anchors. Couldn't quite do it as they make their way up to the short straight. He's going to have to be a little bit more patient here, and this is where you're going to have to get as much momentum as possible. Don't look for any overtakes just as yet. Utilize that slipstream. Pull yourself along, heading down to turn 1. It will help you in the long run. It's all about trying to figure it out, and the last thing you want to do is come too far out to the left-hand side and clip the car against the wall. We've seen so many people, unfortunately, have that issue. As Petersen fights it out, trying to defend against Paul Fenter now. Jean Lassart having a bit of a battle with Tianis Buerta, who is chasing him down on the way through. So there is fight left, right, and center at this point. No matter where you go, there is always a tough time. The ones that aren't having a tough time, Luke Addison and Tariq Adam, they are pacing each other at this point. Kieran Patterson on the other end, wish he could be saying that, as he's got Giovanni Porzio coming at him at the rate of knots. I'm contractually obligated by Giovanni to do that. Apparently, it's one of his memes that are on his Discord, that whole thing. So, Giovanni, there we go. New one for you, buddy. Gideon Reyna having a good go, but we do need to see yellow flags for the 42. And what happened to the 42 car? That is Paul Fenter, who unfortunately is facing the wrong way around. So let's quickly go and take a look at what happened to Paul the Wall Fenter. And he had to wait for the entirety of the field that came through there. Did he lose it through the bus stop though? A little bit unsafe. Yep, rear snaps out, tries to catch it, fishtails it back, jumps over the curb, bottoms the car out. That goes and causes a bit of a rebound, swings the car around, keeps it out of the wall. Beautifully done. He kept it out of the wall. Well done, Paul. But unfortunately, you went and got swallowed up by the entirety of the field, putting him down into 31st position on the way through. So not ideal circumstances for him, as we do see Gideon Reyna ate the wall properly on the exit, and that is going to damage a lot of that front end aero and top speed. And Fleming Power going and capitalizing on it. Oh, Gideon Reyna a little bit too late onto the brakes. Goes and taps the back of Fleming Bauer, trying to get a bit of a hurry up there. And Kerry Van Zyl now also has seen that Gideon Reyna has got a bit of damage on his car. Gonna start winding it up. Gonna start pushing a little bit harder. Because if he can force a mistake out of possibly Gideon Reyna onto Fleming Bauer, he can capitalize 2 positions. Well, if Gideon Reyna is not going to brake too late as he tries to get past, couldn't do it. He actually pulled onto the brakes a little bit harder than planned, and that actually felled up Kerry Van Zyl, and you can see just on the exit how far wide he actually goes. That is already showing, just pushing that fraction too hard, and the car just doesn't want to live with him through that little bit of pace. Tires are definitely starting to show that little bit of aging at the moment. Drivers are having to figure out these little caveats to them, saying what needs to go, how they need to climb. Ryan Barrington-Smith onto the back of Michael Schultz, pulling along. Michael Schultz doing everything he can. And take a look at Arno immediately starting to come back onto the attack as well. So let's go through our running order at the moment. Luke Addison currently leading out the charge. Fastest lap time is our second place driver, Tariq Adam. Kieran Patterson in third has got Giovanni all over the back of him. and is properly giving him a run for his money here. Henry Mayer out in 5th. 6th place is Werner Skuman. Bernard Barcase in 7th. 8th place is Mordred Claassen, followed by Daniel de Villiers, who has got Daniel Rowe nipping at his heels. And now de Villiers is going to have to pull out a trick of note to try and fight out against Daniel Rowe. Daniel is well known in the real racing world for defensive driving. Well, de Villiers is well known to do it in sim racing, coming across the nose of Rowe to try and foul him up a little bit. That Nissan is in for a fight. Rowe up on the inside, getting a lot of the drive. At 296, going to try and straight line the Nissan GTR. He's stuck on the wrong side though, going to lose a bit of momentum. But if he can carry that inside, oh no, he clipped the curb. He clipped the curb, pushed it a little bit too far. Quick flash of the lights saying, sorry buddy. And unfortunately, that little space narrowing out landed up with de Villiers going and losing a bit of time. De Villiers has lost it though, and he is gone. He is out of there. That pressure broke in, and Daniel Rowe, who just laid enough of that pressure, forced him to go and run out that little bit wide, and unfortunately damaging the front nose of that Nissan GTR, which is going to have to slowly get out and rejoin the fight. He's down into 16th position from it, but Daniel Rowe going and just saving himself from the impact and rather hitting to break. Ruben van der Walt has got BG Smith all over the back of him, and BG looking to really show what the Apex Titan BMW can do as he chases down van der Walt in the Pandacity machine right ahead of him. Fafia still carrying a little bit of damage though, trying to get the climb. Daniel de Villiers trying to make up some ground after that little bit of a loss, and this is turning into a bit of a wild one. On Australia, on the other hand, right up on the inside of Ryan Barrington-Smith as they find it out for 19th and 20th place. It's good to see that little fights are starting to occur all over. Luke Addison gets fastest lap time of the race at 1:42.990, but Tariq Adam is not giving him much breathing room. Any little lift off, any little move, and Tariq Adam is going to really grab hold of his tie and really go and put it in. If you want to talk about the terrifying movie that's coming out of Terrify 3, well, at the moment, Luke Addison has got Tariq Adam showing him the prequel of it. Last thing you want to do, come off the throttle. I'm going to take your championship, done or dusted. Finish. Friendship's over. And Kieran Patterson, Giovanni, they are slugging it out like gladiators all the way from Rome as they try and make up that little bit of time between one another. Close little fight though. BG Smith getting away from Ruben van der Walt, 0.4 of a second at him, along with Jean Faviers. Daniel de Villiers, who's lost out a little bit of ground, has got Vesselwoda looking for the inside. Michael Schultz is capitalizing on this, pulling in Vesselwoda as fast as possible. That Porsche, very, very nimble, doesn't quite have the top end, and you can see Ryan Barrington-Smith a little bit late on the brakes, but he gave himself that little bit of room to enter bus stop to try and get a more faster exit on the way out, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out. De Villiers fighting out with Vesselwoda, and he is contending with a huge amount of damage on the run through as well. So definitely not ideal circumstances on the way through here. Drivers having to really try and step up the pace on where they're going. I do see that Paul Fenter is in the pits, and I think he is doing a bit of work onto the tyres and trying to get himself all sorted out after coming off a bit second best through the bus stop, and will be going and radioing in to the rest of the LNR drivers, trying to give a little bit of an idea of what's happening out on track there. It's great to have a bit of a bird's eye view while they're getting some work done on the car. Try and get the whole thing set up, get him out there, and especially with the final 30 minutes and 56 seconds left of the race. It's going to be an almighty charge, and this is a huge, huge train from the likes of Daniel de Villiers, Vesselwoda, Michael Schultz, Ryan Barrington-Smith on Australia, and Henry Platt has now started trying to climb up with Henk Petersen. But take a look, Ryan Barrington-Smith looks on the inside. Michael Schultz couldn't get the pass done. Michael keeping a defensive line, but his eyes locked in towards Vesselwoda. And Michael Schultz has this very, very, I would say, one of his best traits, but it can also be a negative trait. He gets this tunnel vision, and he starts fixating on the car ahead of him. But what he does is he starts to figure out where the problems are creeping in. And this is something going back to his former team that actually calmed him down. They grabbed him by the throat and said, listen, you've got to calm down on your attacks. And he actually landed up taking that advice and utilizing it to get that little bit quicker. And he got that target fixation into a better check. And the person that taught him that was Esty Esserhays and Daniel the Hitman de Villiers. were the ones to actually go and teach him that, ironically enough. But Elvin Prem, on the other hand, got taught by the wall. That's a little bit nasty to get close by, and unfortunately lost out the drive. So absolutely great racing going around, but oh no, contact for Fears, catching the back of Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt has gone round. Thunderbolt has gone round, and now has the whole train passing him. The Fears looked for the inside. It did not work on him. Michael Schultz getting past Vessel Woda. Can he carry the momentum though? Vessel, who is an absolute fighter, the Kramadulis, he can keep this consistent pace. He just needs to stick out of the train, and at the moment he's absorbing the pressure behind him. He's watching very, very carefully. Great spacing. Oh, never mind. There was a bit of contact. Ah, it's close to the wall though, as Vessel Woda tries to keep it. He kept it out of the wall, but absolutely decimated. Now take a look at Arno, tries to make it 3 wide. Ryan Barrington-Smith up on the inside. Ryan trying everything he can. The Kramadulis unfortunately getting unsteady. He catches the car once again. Vessel Woda tries his best, but Arno dives in on that inside and really winds it up. Oh no, contact between the two. Contact between the two. Arno into the wall, Vessel carrying a bit of damage, and here comes Henk Petersen on the way through, waving, saying thank you so much for that absolute advantage. Henry Plutt getting the pass on the likes of Arnold Chandler now, also capitalizing on the moment. One simple little move, unfortunately, that just the cars are just that little bit too long, a little bit too wide in your head. You think you're clear. You think the spot is called clear. He's called clear left. But the problem is it's that corner, that little corner that can catch you out. And unfortunately, the drivers who are racing at their utmost best, they are running to the milliseconds here, need to utilize every millimeter of room to try and close each other off. We have got some of the fastest in South Africa racing here tonight, slugging it out, and this is turning into such a wild race, nail-biting all the way through, as we see Kieran Patterson battling against his friend Giovanni Porzio. Giovanni, a well-known driver here in the RaceFace.Pro scene, has battled with Kieran for many years. These two have gone at each other left, right, and center. Whether you've been racing for an hour and 20 minutes, whether you've been racing for an hour and 30 minutes, or even 45 minutes, they have been at it up and down, and they're looking to keep it going for round 6 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series, as Henk Petersen all over the back of Vessel Woda comes past, and he does see that is Rumford Volt and John Verveers coming out of the pits, and Christoph Petersen fighting out with Bago Krobler. Bago still carrying a lot of that damage from early on, and so is Christoph Petersen. But Christoph is giving it horns, doing everything he can. Bago Krobler, though, is not going to give him too much room to breathe. Garrett Bucas, though, on Stinger Racing, and we've got to give him a shout out, as he's all over the back of Jean Mazat as they make their way through, and Jean just managing to keep ahead, and the likes of Garrett Bucas starting to make up that little bit of time. Ryan Faree, once again, keeping that consistent effort, looking to stay in for the fight on the way through. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. There's a little bit of a slide coming out from Jean Mazat. Does break away from the Stinger Racing Ferrari, and now needs to focus on the charge. Giovanni looks up on the inside, trying to bait Kieran Patterson into a little bit of a defensive move. Kieran soaking that up a little bit, runs out a bit wide, and needs to focus on the charge. This is going to be a huge run on the way through. And taking a look over to the grandstands, unfortunately it does look like they have retired the Fenter car, and he will be out of the race by the looks of it. Hopefully, maybe we can get Paul Fenter to come and have a chat to us. I know it's a bit of a kick in the jaw, honestly, to have it just snap out underneath him towards the wall. So Paul Fenter, this is a call out to you. I know you're busy going and watching and supporting the team, but we got to have a chat to Paul the Ball Fenter, who kept it out of the wall, but unfortunately the curb did the wipeout on the way through. Werner Skuman, though, lays in towards the inside of Henry Meyer, trying to put in the pressure. Henry Meyer has got quite a repertoire here in sim racing for 2024. He's carried that reputation. He's gone and won championships. He's represented RaceFace in the community challenge, the SimGrid community challenge. But now Werner Skuman is busy going and laying into the back of him, saying, listen, don't get big-headed. Bring yourself back, because we are going for that crown. You best believe it right now. So great to see it. and huge, phenomenal stuff. We actually got Paul the Wolf Enter coming in for a bit of a chat, and let's have a chat to Paul the Wolf Enter. Paul, not the race you wanted. Bus stop, doing what bus stop does best. Take us through what on earth happened.
Yeah, Stephen, I don't know. I thought there was space, and I had a bit of a fright, and I tried to jink to the left, and I looked at the replay, and it was the slightest of just touches on poor Johan's car, and I turned him and put him in the wall, and that sucks.
Oh, man. Okay, so a little bit of a touch there. We did see you spin a little bit earlier. I mean, there's been... Watkins Glen has always got that air of you got to take caution, but at the same time, round 6 of the championship, you know how difficult it is, and is it really feasible to, at this point of the championship, to back off the throttle? I mean, if you Luke Addison and Tariq Adam, you've been fighting 1-for-1 throughout the entire race. Kieran, who's really in for the fighters in the championship as well. Giovanni is still in the mix, and with that prize pool that PokerBet's put on the line of 10,000 Rand, is it really a point that you can come off the throttle?
No. To me, you keep it like, to the limit, because when you're on the limit, you know where to brake, you know when to accelerate. As soon as you start lifting off and that brake points become different, the acceleration points different, you then more tend to probably make a mistake then you are if you're like on the limit. But again, not 99% on the limit, not 105%. But yeah, the
person that can say he was on the limits was the number 55, Gideon Renner, and it's actually in a place that you're very familiar with. This is heading into the bus stop. Gideon Renner carrying a lot of momentum through, jumps over the curb, and Rhea just steps out underneath him, and unfortunately backwards nose into the wall and drags across the barrier. We've seen that being one of the things, and bus stop is one of those, you've got to be on the limit, but at the same time it's not afraid to claim a few lives on the way through.
Yep, I mean that's basically similar what I did. I just bounced to the inside and that's it, over and done. So yeah, no, it's what happens. But yeah, I've had 4 shots now on my stream, 2 for Johan Viviers and then 2 for Jean Viviers, because he was involved with Bagger and Christoph in their little T1 crash and bang, and he was a poor innocent that got put into the wall there. So Eleanor seems to be having it out for the Viviers family tonight.
Well, and to put it this way, he took the most impact, as we do see Gideon Rayner losing it into the wall. That is, oh man, he's been hit into next week. The Ferrari going and snapping towards pit lane, and take a look at this. Runs out wide, clips the wall, and thud into the barrier. Man,
oh jeez.
Even the ID book felt that one on the way through, unfortunately. It's a nightmare. But Paul, I mean, this has been a championship of notes. We're coming from the sprint series. 45 minutes is a very, very quick race, but at the same time, when you've got pros out there, you know how fast you need to be out there. You know the caliber of drivers to be out there. Even as an AM driver, to be on the circuit with these guys, you've got to be wide awake. But at the same time, everyone through the grid has really shown that effort to really step up. Do you feel that sim racing at the moment, from all the drivers, not just the teams out there, but all the drivers have really stepped up the mark to put themselves forward in the world of sim racing?
Yeah, no, I think, honestly, if you look at it, wherever the SA boys go and participate, anywhere in the Europe leagues where quite a few of the LNR boys race, I mean, I'll call it our pro drivers that we see as the pro or the split one drivers, they're always in the fight, in the top end of grids and stuff, and then you arrive in the RaceFace race and you're mid-pack to the back if you're in the pro split. So yeah, I think SA sim racing has had a boom in the sense more of just, the drivers have all stepped up to be more competitive. I mean, the likes of Tariq and Luke and Sherrod, the Sherrod brothers, they're not 4-5 seconds ahead anymore. You're in with a fight. Well, some of the guys are in with a fight. So I think I think as things progress, everyone is getting closer to the guys, and it's, you know, the grid overall is a lot closer, which is nice. And yeah, 45 minutes. I mean, they call it a sprint for a reason. You literally got to go when the lights go out. If you're not going, you're definitely losing places already before you get to turn one. So yeah, it's elbows out and aggressive driving, but at the same time, the boys do that with the utmost of respect for each other, and you know, that's the part where we really enjoy. Enjoy the camaraderie between the guys. So, and as always, you know, if someone has a bit of a cheeky thing to say, we always have a bit of banter and have a bit of fun to cool the egos and cool the heads, and everyone has a laugh afterwards.
Well, I mean, one person that has walked away with a fair amount of success is Henry Mayer, and you being one of the leaders of LNR, seeing Henry Mayer out there, who's now taken the MSA LNR ACC Cup Championship for PC, and that's quite a thing out there. But he is in a fight with Werner Skuman and Bernard Barkhuizen, constantly on his tail pushing. But two drivers that are nailing it to one another, Tariq Adam and Luke Addison. And take a look at the gap between the two. There is nothing in it. These drivers are being respectful, but at the same time, they are not leaving anything to chance. They are trying to get that little push. I mean, Michael Schultz and Ryan Barrington-Smith, a very good one to this, with Daniel de Villiers with, the Datsun that is going to land up in the dustbin after needing a fair amount of repairs to it, is going and fighting it out. I mean, this has been absolutely tremendous stuff. And for the final... Well, the second of the last season, so we do see Tristan who's lost it, and that looks to be Jean Lassard pulling into the pits. But as the second last season of ACC in South Africa, running for 2024 on PC, this is quite a send-off, wouldn't you say? That very fast field, everyone giving it horns right to the end. PokerBet being a part of the show. Not only last season taking the history books of 250,000 Rand given in a sim racing, which you could enter for free and walk away with that, but also to have some of the fastest drivers all attending, being a part of it. Not some of the fastest, all the drivers out here are incredibly quick, but going and racing against one another to send off 2024. This is what we come to see, some very close racing action, and guys, not leaving it up to chance, everyone throwing their hat into the ring and each having their own chance to call themselves a champion.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's fantastic. It's just awesome to see when everyone is racing all over the place, and yeah, there's battles throughout the field. I'm sitting and watching Ryan busy fighting with de Villiers and Schultz on my side, and yeah, and got the stream going on the one side, watching you boys showing everyone else. So yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, everyone's enjoying their racing, I think, as far as I'm aware. Everyone's enjoying it, maybe not the Verveer brothers, the Verveer family tonight, but yeah, everyone's enjoying it, having fun, and I think we're all getting ready to probably close it out and finish off the year, and then December go spend time with the family, and then say goodbye to them when January comes around and we start the whole process over again, and try and become the big champions in South Africa next year, as what it is.
Well, it's going to be an exciting one. Paul, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the new DD coming your way. We did talk about your credit card is now saying klar, it's done, it's over, like the Christmas present's been bought. Try get flowers next time. I think there's going to be flowers for the credit card after that one. But congratulations on moving up to the DD side of things, and unfortunately the race didn't go your way, but good luck to the rest of the team, still fighting out for the last 15 minutes and 40 seconds of the RaceFace.Pro. Alan, the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series LNR driver, Paul Fenter joining us. Thank you very much, Paul. Glad to have you here, and look forward to chatting to you later.
Cheers, bad. Bye.
Great to have him here. Giovanni all over the back of Kieran. We've been keeping a very close eye on this battle just to see how it's all going to turn out. And so far, Giovanni's been putting a fair amount of pressure on Kieran, but now Kieran's starting to step up that gap a little bit more. Ryan Barrington-Smith getting past Michael Schultz. Michael actually giving the gap to Ryan Barrington-Smith, feeding him into de Villiers to try and push that run. And now Ryan Barrington-Smith onto the back of de Villiers. De Villiers going to the middle of the circuit, going closer to the inside. Can't really move too much, and Ryan Barrington-Smith tries to come back at him. A little bit of a cautious approach. Daniel trying to defend. Remember, he has lost that top end that he originally wanted to carry. And unfortunately, that is starting to become a little bit more of effect. Another good little fight. Henry Platt and Chris Collison. Remember, Chris actually started in pit lane. He had that problem out on the roaming lap and pulled into the pits, got it sorted out, and he is on the climb, 22nd position. So technically, he did start last, and he's making the climb. And Henry Platt losing out the drive, the number 9 driver, unfortunately, who did have an accident a little bit earlier, and this is it. So a little bit of contact by the looks of it may have been that little bit. He's got damage on the nose from previous, but did he run out wide, or was there a bit of contact with it? Oh, no, unfortunately, that was with Chris Collison. He gets a tank slapper, brings it back, and Chris actually going and lifting off the throttle, allowing him to retake that position, try and earn it back. Very good to see that out there. Good to see that there is that little bit of respect to one another, that tip of the hat to one another. Out in front, though, Luke Addison opening up a 1.3 second over Tariq Adam. Looks like tires starting to drop off quite quickly. Kieran Patterson still battling with Giovanni Porzero for 3rd and 4th. Henry Mayer in 5th. Has got 6th place, Werner Skuman, Bernard Barkhuis, and Mordred Claessens. Daniel Rowe in 9th, 10th place, Fleming Bauer, followed by Kerry van Zale, B.G. Smith. Daniel de Villiers dealing with Ryan Barrington-Smith, and now Michael Schultz, who's, after giving the little space to Ryan Barrington-Smith, has now decided to turn up the wick in 15th position to have a go at Ryan. But now Ryan's going to try feel the straight line, try and keep underneath the rear wing of Daniel de Villiers. Can he carry the momentum, though? Not able to quite get the run, but Michael Schultz very late on the brakes, actually had to straighten out the car and get himself going. Number 99 landing up in a bit of a problem, and that is Henry Mayer. Did he have contact with Skuman? It must have been the slightest of touches between the two of them. I think Skuman got a fantastic drive out of the S's. Yes, he did. Absolutely closed up at a rate of knots, and you can see how close the Mustang is to the rear wing. Looks for the inside through bus stop, and Henry Mayer only got a little bit of a push through, but absolutely great to see it on the way through. Ryan Barrington-Smith all over the back of de Villiers, trying to push as hard as he can. Drops the wheel off on the dirt, and Michael Schultz is broken away from this little train. So Ryan has got clear skies behind him, but now has got a face full of the Datsun ahead of him. The Nissan GTR is plenty powerful to take on Ryan Barrington-Smith, and so far with that little bit of damage, he's not losing out too much time. Werner Skuman still giving it everything he can. The Angry Panda really giving the Martians a run for their money here, and Bernard Barkhuis has closed up the gap little by little, has become a bit more of a threat. The 1-2-1 car, Tristan Herbs, unfortunately going and landing off into the dirt through the bus stop. Unfortunately, that car not having an easy time out there. My co-commentator going and feeling it. But one driver who has been getting a bit of sympathy, well, the two drivers have been getting a bit of sympathy, Jean Verveers and Johan Verveers, still out on the track and still pushing, with the likes of Jean Verveers onto the back of Rowan van der Walt, trying to close up and get past that Mustang as fast as he can. So good to see the fight is still in there for the Verveers family as they do everything they can to stay with the fight. Ryan Barrington-Smith tried to get on the inside. Daniel de Villiers couldn't get that pass done. Werner Skuman still giving a bit of a go. 11 minutes left of the race for round 6 here at Watkins Glen. And drivers are giving it horns here at Bucas, even having a go at Honor Stradler. And now Honor having to really get a little bit more defensive. Honor has had a few touch and goes. Oh! Here at Bukes absolutely losing the rear of the car. And that was into turn 1. I think possibly what happened, and let's take a look. If memory, well, all works out to what I think happened, he went into turn 1 a little bit too hot, got onto the bottom of the, and yeah, that unfortunately spiked the car up, jacked it up onto its tires, and really had that rebound effect. Pushed the tires back into the bodywork, lost that grip, and it just spun the car around. Unfortunately, nothing you can do when you get that awful tank slapper coming in, as we do see Ryan Barrington-Smith having a good go. Oh, Bukes once again. Oh, man. Lost it through the bus stop, and this time a lot of damage. And sees his teammate Chris Colson saying, "Thank you very much, sir. You can't park there," on the way through, as he does tries to keep up a bit of a drive. But here at Bukes, unfortunately, one after the other, tires starting to snap out on these cars, and it really shows how hard the drivers have been pushing that little bit every step of the way as they keep up the drive. Ryan Barrington-Smith still hunting down the back of of Daniel de Villiers. Can't really get on by. De Villiers is very, very defensive, and Werner Schoeman's got the exact same problem with Henry Meyer constantly hunting down, trying to see where it's all going to work out for him, and just not able to get the rotation underneath him needed to go on the attack. Michael Schultz, though, has closed up to the train yet again and has to really clamp onto the anchors not to go into the back of Ryan Barrington-Smith. De Villiers soaking up the pressure behind, now needs to keep up the momentum. Jean Verveers all over the back of Ruan van der Walt as they head into turn 1, and they really try and keep the pressure, and Ruan van der Walt keeping a very, very tight line, trying to make his way. That seems to be, what would that be that's going around? That would be one of the Martian racing cars, but which of the cars is that? No, that can't be Björn Stier, that can't be Kilian Reyna, who has retired the car. That is actually one of our front runners, and it's looking in a fair amount of pain as it stands. Ryan Barrington-Smith having a good go at De Villiers, one of our closest battle on track, are still doing everything they can to move their way up. And so far, De Villiers fighting tooth and nail at this point to stay in with the fight. Can't really get the momentum. Giovanni all over the back of Kieran Patterson, looks towards the inside line, backed out of it, rather keeps it in tow. Can he make the advantage through the S's? If he can get the right drive out of this corner, runs out a little bit too wide, got to keep a very tight line here, and then just not widen it out too much as you make your way through the S's. Beautifully done. Keep a very simple car, don't put too much steering angle into the car, don't lose out too much time. Unfortunately, he's not able to contend with the straight line horsepower of the Mustang. It's able to bail its way out of trouble each and every time. Luke Harrison putting in the fastest lap time. Tariq now 2 seconds back on our leader. So we have seen, unfortunately, that McLaren starting to taper off towards the end stages of the race, and Luke Addison's going to be smiling at that one because it's going to be banking points for him in the championship. And after they've gone 1 for 1 at each other throughout the races, this is going to be the advantage Luke Addison needs, and possibly the critical points needed to win the championship here at the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series. And we do see Ryan Barrington-Smith still all over Daniel de Villiers. Daniel is not backing out of the situation here. Ryan's having to think very, very difficult on what to do to get by. Down in 4th gear, holds it down into 3rd, brings the revs up, mid-range, high-range, quick into 4th. Gets a little bit of a tighter line, utilizing the brake just to get the rear to snap in with him. You can see that understeer, absolutely awful, starting to come out of him, and really trying to get onto the back of Daniel de Villiers, not having an easy time, and you can see him fighting with the car on the way through. And you've got Michael Schultz sitting behind. You can see his gear shift's a lot more simple, not going and really slamming it down. He's not going and making quick moves, gentle on the way through, slight corrections every so often, but that is not as aggressive as the likes of Ryan Barrington-Smith. Daniel de Villiers, on the other hand, keeping a very, very smooth entry and exit through the corners. He does get a little bit unsteady as the car does tighten up, as he relies a bit more on that mechanical grip to come in. And with the damage on the car, I do think he's suffering from a loss of mechanical and aero grip that is needed, those critical seconds, and that is where Ryan's making a lot of time up on him and looks to keep on feeding the pressure, but it needs to keep on the momentum as these three still fight it out. Werner Schoeman and Henry May are still going at each other. This is a 3-car train of note, and all it needs is just one of these drivers to pull the trigger, to go for it, take that deep breath and launch it. You got to become that absolute sender, the last of the breakers, just to get that pass done. You got to believe the car is going to stick underneath you. The tires are going to grip up and work with you. It's just a difficult run. In the final 5 minutes, Giovanni suffering also with that understeer, creeping into the 296. You can see going and sliding out a little bit, gets it to bite, pulls himself back in, and Kieran Patterson tries to carry a lot of momentum. It seems like corner exits, though, he's having a tough time. He's able to get the entries right, but the exits, he's fighting that car to keep it under check. Henry Mayer fights it out with Werner Skuman as they go side by side, and Henry Mayer up on the inside, Werner Skuman around the outside. The Angry Panda trying to do everything he can. The Pandassi driver is going to really lay into it, and Bernard Barkhuizen has closed up the fight as well. Henry Mayer's in for a bit of a loss here. He's got to sweep across the nose of Bernard Barkhuizen. Bernard late on the brakes, tries to get it in on the inside, couldn't get that pass in. These two are rivals from seasons past, and now they are back in, and Werner Skuman has finally, after so long of being stuck behind Henry Mayer, has the opportunity to start opening up that gap, to really lay into it. Henry Mayer's going to try his luck to catch up to this Pandassi Infiltrate Freedom, shouting its way through, bouncing over the curbs, clipped the dirt a little bit, loss of drive. Henry Mayer closes up the gap, Bernard Barkhuizen as well, so it is not an easy time for him as they fight it out. Henry Mayer up on the inside, trying to carry the drive. Werner Skuman understeers, he loses the momentum, he's trying to hold the inside line. Henry Mayer around the outside, doing everything he can, a little bit of argy-bargy, and Bernard Barkhuizen, is he going to capitalize? He does! He dives up on the inside. Bernard Barkhuizen taking the position away after the slightest of context. That drop of a kilometer was just enough for Bernard to go in. But now Henry Mayer has to fight Bernard Barkhuizen, who is staring at the back of that Mustang and looking where he can go. Henry Mayer bailing out of the run, trying everything to think what needs to be done. He needs to try and settle things down, but 3 minutes to go. These drivers are doing everything they can to really step up the pace. De Villiers trying to defend against Ryan Barrington-Smith, who's finally looked for the apex, but just couldn't get it. Listen, just too wide at the moment as they fight their way through. 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. Giovanni giving it everything he's got. He's going to be like that Pokemon card to really throw it in. And if you know Giovanni from Pokemon, well done. You had the best one. If you know the card, you had a great childhood, unless you're on the receiving end of it. Sorry then. But Kieran Patterson giving everything he can. His dad currently commentating and having a look over and just going and supporting the PWSR. His teammates also, the likes of Dean Nokia, shouting from the rooftops, going and keeping an eye on the amazing run that we're having here. Daniel De Villiers, Ryan Barrington-Smith as Ryan dives to the inside. Quick look on the inside. Bit of contact against the Daniel De Villiers, who tried to slam the door shut. Michael Schultz just took it absolutely smooth. Can he do it again? He's going to go late under the brakes. Dives up on the inside. Beautiful pass. Michael Schultz in two corners has stolen it from Ryan Barrington-Smith, and Daniel De Villiers absolutely sniped it. What a run. Now Ryan has got to really put the pressure in. De Villiers has got the bit between his teeth, chasing down, looks to try and go around the outside. Michael defending that inside line, and De Villiers trying to make it, looking through wide. There wasn't enough space. Schultz is going to have a loss of drive through the bus stop. He needs to keep it nice and tight and hold Ryan Barrington-Smith back, but De Villiers is going to absolutely get his teeth right into this fight as quick as he can to battle it out as they close down into the last 1 minute and 46. Luke Addison leading out the charge, 1.8 seconds back from him. Tariq Adam, Kieran Patterson still got Giovanni all over the back of him. Werner Skuman has got Bernard Barkhuizen breathing down his neck. Henry Mayer slipping down the order, just not able to get that drive, and is really battling his way through. Mordred Claessens in 8th, Daniel Rowe in 9th, Fleming Bauer in that top 10, followed by Harry Van Sale, BG Smith, Michael Schultz, who's keeping ahead of Ryan Barrington-Smith, and De Villiers now looking around the outside. Can he carry the momentum through? Tries to go for a bit of a cutback. He really getting on the power a little bit early, and you can see that Nissan is not liking the rears anymore. Ryan having to get a little bit more defensive out there, and now tries to make his way through. Oh, De Villiers absolutely getting sent off to oblivion as he understeers off track. Henk Pedersen is running in 16th, but we have got a problem. Werner Skuman loses out the momentum. Werner Skuman, the 433, had a problem. Let's quickly take a look at what happened. Oh, this is the wrong one. Not really the Werner Skuman we're looking for. There we go, Werner Skuman. He just ran out wide, unfortunately, and that was pretty much that. And that was coming out of the bus stop. Not ideal circumstances. The 1-2-3 car. That's Kieran Patterson. What happened to Kieran? And this, he had Giovanni on the back of him. So this is Chris Biermeister, who is in front of Kieran Patterson. He does get held up quite a bit. It allows Giovanni to get in. Chris goes out wide and loses. Oh man, a little bit of contact there. Giovanni, a little bit of contact as Kieran now tries to fight back, but that is going to be a run. Giovanni into third. Kieran fighting it out. 2-1-0 as they come across. Final lap. Where is our leader? Luke Addison is into turn 1. Tariq Adam is in turn 1. Giovanni has got one more lap to keep it all together with Kieran Patterson all over the back of him. Michael Schultz has battled it out with Ryan Bearing-Smith, who's into the wall, loses out the drive. De Villiers is going to have a go at him, and now De Villiers is going to get back into the fray of things. So De Villiers really doing everything he can. Kieran breathing down the neck, and there is a solid train ahead of Giovanni. He's going to have to make his way through. A little bit of a lift off from one of the hybrid racing, just trying to back off. But now there is going to be a problem of note here. Giovanni has got a nasty little train around him that are all fighting for position. Henry Platt, Elwin Prim, and Christoph Peterson, the 3 cars ahead, are fighting for position, with Elwin Prim dives up on the inside and tries to get past Henry Platt. Christoph Peterson gets in, and now is Giovanni held up. Giovanni's caught in the middle, flashing like no tomorrow, signaling, please let me by. Kieran goes and makes his way through. Christoph trying to also just get a little bit of momentum. Kieran has an opportunity here. Giovanni is hanging on by a thread. So is Kieran Patterson as they battle their way through. Dives up on the inside. Kieran doing all that he can. Giovanni, aged 20 years in 5 seconds flat on that run. Luke Addison will be coming to take the checkered flag with Tariq, a second behind, but third place is still open, cards. Giovanni not away from Kieran just as yet, as Kieran's going to give it horns. Round the corner he goes, battles it out, looks on the inside. Giovanni closes the door on him, and Giovanni right at the end, final 3 minutes, has taken third place away from Kieran Patterson. Bernard Barkhuizen takes 5th, followed by Henry Mayer, Werner Skuman, Mordre Claessens going and finishing up in 8th. Daniel Rowe in 9th, 10th place, Fleming Bauer, Kerry Funzel, BG Smith, but Michael Schultz still hanging on with Ryan Barrington Smith on the back of him. Vessel Woda dealing with Arno Strahler at the moment, and Arno is really laying in, so we still got fights going on here, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be an absolute run for Michael Schultz if he can keep ahead of Ryan Barrington Smith. This is gonna be the fight though. Ryan looks like he's gonna back off. He's not gonna challenge it, but second guesses that thought, tries to have a good go, but unfortunately Michael Schultz sniped him right at the end. He played the long game, and Ryan Barrington Smith just could not take it, but as they come across the line, 0.2 of a second between them. Daniel De Villiers finishing up in 15th. 16th, Henk Petersen comes across the line, and I think Henk's a little bit on the slope. No, it cannot be. Henk, no, buddy, no. Henk Petersen is out of fuel. He's going to get across the line, but he's out of fuel. And right at the line with 10 meters to go, he loses out to Vesselwood and Arno Stradler right at the line. That little bit of fuel, that extra in that tank, that saving, was it worth it? Was the sense worth it? Losing out 2 positions in 10 meters. Oh man, what a run, folks. What a rush. Absolutely. What a rush. My head is absolutely turning off to that one. First, man, what an amazing effort by our drivers. Putting in such an effort to get across the line. Luke Addison takes the win. And then you've got Tariq Adam and Giovanni going and fighting it out. Kieran put up a brave battle on the way through. Great to see it. Man, oh man, even BG Smith immediately going and jumping in and saying, wow, what a race. And honestly, to BG Smith in the drift Porsche, or the drift BMW, absolutely well done, buddy. Really well done. Because you also had some close action. The drivers out in Parc Fermé having a huge amount of fun there. Lots of discussions being had, lots of close racing. I think a lot of pats on the backs, a lot of head scratching going on. But with round 6 done and dusted, this has really turned into it. And man, oh man, what a run of note. Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights to it while we interview our drivers and the crowd going absolutely excited, absolutely ecstatic after that one, because it was wild, folks. It was really, really wild to see two of our drivers come through. We're just waiting for our third place. Right, we're going to bring in the commentary, and I think someone's been waiting a long time for this. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got to do it with me. You got to do it because it's become the meme. But, ladies and gentlemen, bringing in third place of the race. Put your hands together and finally gets to hear it in person. Third place goes to Giovanni Porzio. Absolutely well done. 3 minutes to go, bud. How are you feeling with that one?
Oh, man. I must be honest. I'll give credit to Kieran. He drove a great race. The back markers, sort of compromised his run, but I took opportunity and I'm so happy. And I'm glad to be here with you, Stephen.
Oh, finally.
First time.
Long time. No, we chatted in the endurance, but first time on going right up. But Giovanni, I mean, you must have aged 20 years when you caught up to the train of backmarkers for fighting out for position, and you had Kieran on your tail. I mean, take us through that single moment. 3 cars fighting for position. You trying to feed your way in the middle, and we could see the desperation of just move out the way, please, coming in.
Yeah, so I was mainly concerned, I know they're also doing their own race, so I didn't want to take anyone out, but I also wanted to get the podium. So I was very fortunate. I don't know, the McLaren on the inside gave way, and I broke super late on the uphill right-hander, and I managed to hold it. And I need to watch that again. I was so excited.
Honestly, we caught it all live on the broadcast. Definitely well worth watching. But Giovanni, great stuff out there. And the whole race itself unfolding. But this is good points in the bag for you, who's had some great moments and also some little falls through it. You unfortunately didn't start round 5, but managing a podium here for round 6. You're currently 5th in the championship. This puts you ahead of Bernard Barkhuizen heading into round 7 next week, but it brings you a bit closer to those podium positions. What's the game plan? Now this is the do or die. You and I both know that this stage of the championship is damage control the whole way through.
Yeah, so I'm just going to take it race by race, try to do the best I can do and go from there.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Well, Giovanni, looking at the entire grandstands, everyone going and saying the same thing. It appears going and shouting out. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together. Giovanni Porzio, absolutely great stuff. You've taken third place. Anything you would like to say to the amazing drivers out there, the amazing partners here at RaceFace, the amazing title sponsor of PokerBet, and also to the absolute nutters, the petrol heads that are shouting from the rooftops, and I think is going and making more noise than the commentators on a soccer match with Giovanni all the way through, becoming and then echoing through the Watkins Glen. The floor is yours.
I want to firstly thank my parents. They always support me and push me. Thank you to RaceFace and the sponsors, PokerBet, and everyone else involved. It's really been a great season, great competition, great drivers, and I'm loving it. Looking forward to more. Thank you to everyone.
And Giovanni, welcome back. It's good to have you back, buddy.
Thank you, Stephen.
For many people that don't know, Giovanni did have a little bit of a hiatus, and one of our top drivers. Giovanni, welcome back, bud. Glad to have you. And finally, we could say it live on air with you listening. Have a good one. Enjoy the celebrations. Go spray the champagne with the folks. Why? Don't stick around here. Go. Go and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you, Stephen. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Oh, man, absolutely great stuff. But second place, we're going to bring in Tariq Adam. Tariq Adam, welcome to the commentary box. After quite a race, I mean, you threw everything you could at Luke Addison. The start was close. The McLaren looked lively, and you really gave it horns all the way through, not giving an inch. Unfortunately, it looked like towards the end, tires weren't playing into your favor, but man, oh man, what a stellar drive. How are you feeling after the race?
Yeah, thank you. It was a good race. I'm happy with the balance of the car and everything, so it's good for tomorrow. Quali wasn't great. I kind of messed up, so that kind of put me in this position, but it's what it is. The race pace was good. And then I was just driving really poorly at the start, so I killed my rear tires way too quickly. And then once I lost the slip, I was just sliding everywhere and couldn't keep up, and then couldn't recover it.
Well, it was still amazing driving nonetheless. We also saw that you started taking a little bit more of an aggressive approach towards bus stop, going and attacking the curbs a little bit more. Take us through what was happening there and your approach to bus stop, because we've seen so many people either get it right or it ends up horribly wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we have to full send it every lap, even in the race, because if you don't, then you lose way too much time and make yourself vulnerable. So you have to just practice, make sure the setup is good and the car is stable and consistent over it, and then full send every lap.
That's it. If you're not gonna lick it and send it, then what are you doing in the world of motorsport? Well, Tariq, this does sort of put you on the back foot for the championship. You came in 214 points, while Luke Addison had 219. So you're a little bit on the back foot for the rest of the championship. Any eyes looking forward with round 7 and round 8 around the corner, and that prize pool that PokerBet's put on the line of your share of 10,000 Rand being put there. Any ideas of what you're going to do a little bit different for the remaining 2 races to go and usurp the championship away from Luke Addison?
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm playing for second, so I had an opportunity to try and make a move into bus stop one of the laps. We were side by side, and I just kind of pulled out because could have ended both our races. So just playing for second, and then I got a good result today compared to the rest of the drivers, especially with Theo getting third. So that kind of helps building the gap to third.
There we go. Well, absolutely great stuff there. Tariq, second place, though, absolutely phenomenal. And a hat off. A lot of the drivers really going and showing off. But the floor is yours, buddy, to address our title sponsor, PokerBet, for going and being that absolute amazing sponsor. Our associate partners here at RaceFace and all the drivers and teams out on the track. And you've been there at the track. You've had those moments, and getting to see the virtual grandstands so alive. They're so electric here in the world of sim racing. Anything you would like to say to those absolute amazing people, the petrol heads cheering on from the grandstands?
Yeah, thanks to the sponsors, PokerBet, for putting on the show, and yourself for streaming. Everyone on the track for mostly keeping it clean and having a good race. And then my boys in the Discord for having a good race with each other.
Absolutely great stuff. Still remaining rather quiet and humble to it. So, Tariq, well done to your race. Second place. Go and enjoy the celebrations. I think Giovanni has kind of run off with all the champagnes at the moment out the door. You went to the right there. So I think you got a little bit of a catch up to do there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well done, Tariq. Second place. And really putting on a great show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, going and earning the right to call himself the winner of the race, Luke Addison of ITB Esports, walking away with the gold here at Watkins Glen for round 6 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 champion. Tariq going and taking that second place. Luke, not long ago, you were busy streaming and talking about having to really challenge yourself with the drivers around you and really push harder in the competition. Well, this race, it seemed like those words came back to fight you left, right, and center.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very tricky race, very unexpected quali, especially the race as a whole, the raw pace, because I only did race laps quite late, like 10 to 20 minutes beforehand, because most of the week I didn't have any power, so I couldn't really practice as much. So the quali, I'm surprised that I actually got it. It was kind of like a fluke lap. That I considered whether I should go out and even try and beat it, because I knew there's probably no chance I'm going to beat it. So yeah, that set me up quite good for the start of the race. And then myself, Gio, and Tariq were speaking to each other. We obviously understand that the Ford is incredibly fast in Sector 1, so we try to help each other as much as possible, trying to not let the Ford pass. So when Tariq and I were going into T1 and then going down the back straight, trying to somewhat coordinate a way that there's not really anywhere for the Ford to go. And then I know that if I help Tariq stay in my slip, we should naturally have better tire wear than the Ford. So then as long as we stay with each other, we could probably get away, which is exactly what happened on lap 2. Tariq made a bit of a mistake on the uphill hairpin. Coming onto the main straight, I braked a little bit to try and give him the slip, because if Kieran gets past, I'm under more threat down the straight from a Ford than a McLaren. So yeah, and then we tried to pull a gap, and yeah, everything seemingly worked out quite well.
Well, it looked like the discussion worked out well, but we got to be frank here. Tariq seemed like he started getting a little bit hot under the collar to go after that position where suddenly the red mist started to creep down on the two of you, and you could see the defensive moves starting to come into play. You've now managed to take the lead into the championship a little bit further. You came in with 219 points over Tariq Adam on 214. But it does look like Tariq is trying to come back for that championship. Is there a worry with 2 rounds to go that the possibility of losing the championship is there? Or do you feel that you've managed to isolate the car just enough to carry over and take the win here for the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Tariq is going on a religious holiday, something for his religion in the last round, so he will miss the Wednesday and Thursday race. So he's just trying to build a big enough gap to try and get at least P2 in the championship. So I think as long as there's no disconnects or I do something really silly, it should be okay from here. Because I think I have a race win over P3 at the moment. So yeah, quite happy with how everything's gone thus far.
Oh, absolutely amazing stuff. Well, before I let you go, one more question. The field during the course of the season has been rather quick. Guys have really been upping the game to get closer towards the sharp end of the field. And you're taken going through the field, going through some of the AM drivers that are not really what you think an AM driver pace would be. They're a little bit quicker than what an AM driver. Do you think that the bar is now from sim racing has gone as just a play around at home thing, or do you think that it's being taken a little bit more seriously, coming from ITB Esports, coming from South Africa sim racing, and getting to see the drivers that not long ago you were helping coach, now suddenly going and taking it wheel to wheel with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the overall level in South Africa is definitely better. It's increased. I think still the raw difference between the pace is mostly what happens in the race. It's just that last little bit of extra race pace, raw pace that they miss out in the race, and then just tire management. Because the quali overall has been very, very close. Quite a large, numerous amount of times during the season. So yeah, I mean, everyone's been really quick. Everyone's been on it. Everyone has practiced quite hard, and it's nice. Everyone's prepping, makes the grid naturally a little bit faster. And yeah, everyone's trying to outdo one another, and yeah, I'm very, very impressed with how everyone's driven.
Absolutely great stuff. Well, scoring first place, Luke Addison from ITV Esports. Anything you'd like to say to our title sponsor, PokerBet, for putting on that amazing cash prize pool of 10,000 Rand on the cards for the drivers, but also to our partners here at RaceFace.Pro, to all the teams and drivers going and slugging it in and day out to come and be on the grid. And also, I mean, you must have been flying down the main straight and just seeing the virtual grandstands full, the excitement, the enthusiasm out there in the virtual grandstands of our petrol heads cheering on their favorite drivers, their favorite teams. Anything you'd like to say to them now that you have taken first place for round 6 of the RaceFace.Pro PokerBet GT3 Sprint Series with only 2 rounds to go before the end?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to PokerBet, all the sponsors involved, as well as RaceFace for putting on this amazing season. Congrats to all the competitors thus far. The racing has been amazing and really enjoyable. Thank you to all the stewards, commentators, and everyone involved behind the scenes. And yeah, thank you so much to ITV, and GG's to Tariq and Gio.
It's going to be great stuff. Well done. Fantastic work. Go and enjoy the celebrations. I think the person that's going to be going absolutely nuts has to be Giovanni. He ran off with the champagne Tariq went out the door trying to catch him. Luke, I think he may need a hand there. I can't give you a bottle. It's been taken by Giovanni at this point.
Yeah, Gio drove amazing. I'm so happy for him.
Last 3 minutes to get it. Luke Addison, everybody of ITB, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Great stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope you loved that because I sure as hell did. That was fantastic racing, nonetheless, from the drivers and really putting on the good show for round 6 and really does hype up for the week of what's going to happen. Tomorrow night is the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Championship powered by PokerBet. Definitely not to be missed. 15,000 Rand prize pool on the line for that one. It is going to be wild. And if tonight says anything, whatever you can expect, guess what? It ain't going to happen. It's going to be a tough time out there. It's going to be wheel-to-wheel action, and everything's going to get thrown into the race. So don't miss out the racing here. Tomorrow night, 8:10, we'll be streaming our Pro and Pro-Am coming to you live with Tristan Herbs on the Pro-Am, who, well, I've just gotten a message from after having his race, and this goes out to Tristan Herbs of Omnius Gaming. Ran out of fuel again. Tristan, you got the naughty badge. Then you were going to give it away to someone, and now you did it again. Here's your naughty badge. Good luck on the microphone tomorrow. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, absolutely phenomenal to have you guys here. Thank you so much. I love seeing all the enthusiasm out there, and we are going to see plenty of it coming more tomorrow. Coming up on the 7th of December, though, get your entries in. We have the RaceFace.Pro Endurance Series. We're ending it off on the 7th of December with a 24 hours of spa. Head over to SimGrid, sign up, be a part of the amazing action there on ACC. If you're a fan of iRacing, though, and want to do some GT3 racing on iRacing, well, we've got an 8-hour Japan on the 7th of December. Hang on, 2 races on the 7th of December? Both are going to be out streamed to you live. So you get a mix of both iRacing and ACC on the 7th of December. Why not go and be a part of it? Head over to SimGrid, join up here at RaceFace. Also, go down to our link in the description and join up with PokerBet, where you can win big as well with some amazing prizes on the line with PokerBet as they gear themselves up for 2025 and looking towards the likes of Las Vegas. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, absolutely fantastic to have you guys around. My name is Stephen Koenig. Thank you for joining us here in the THT. Thank you to PokerBet. Thank you to our partners. Thank you to the drivers and teams, and most importantly, to you absolute amazing petrol heads. And we'll see you next time right here at RaceFace.Pro. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell out icon, and like always, say it with me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody. Please follow up with 93. With all the amazing racing that comes to you weekly, we have to give acknowledgement to our sponsors. Without them, this would not be possible here at RaceFace.Pro. So starting off with our first sponsor, let's go and take your hats off to PokerBet. For all the tournaments, for all the cash games, daily free rolls, and sports betting, there's no better place to be and win with PokerBet. With it all revved up and you're looking for high speed, whether you're into drag, drift, or even long circuit, Red Star Raceway has got you covered. If you're looking to upgrade your car or make sure it's running slick and smooth, go and head over to Extreme Service Center to get you that full mile across the race line, or whether you're going good in the dash. Sliding in to keep you on your toes, Scallywags Drift Academy will keep you right at the top of the pack. And if you're looking for all your streaming needs, head over to Tenvo Tech for all the overlays. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been an honor having you. We'll see you next time right here from the THT